Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. You may know that I have been doing a project pan here for a while now, and I wanted to do a quick get ready with me to A, motivate myself to keep using these products and eventually use them up, because that's the point of a project pan. But also just to kind of show you guys how I use them. If you're doing a project pan, hopefully this will motivate you to use your products up. So if you would like to see how I arrived at this look, then keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to start out with my Paula's Choice Resist Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense. This isn't part of my project pan. This is just kind of my tinted moisturizer slash primer product. Whoa, things are falling. This is my favorite moisturizer. It's perfect for oily skin if you have oily skin like I do. It actually really keeps my face matte like no other product. It's amazing. And it's not even really marketed as a mattifying product. Now I'm going to go with my Ulta Double Duty Primer and Foundation in Classic Ivory. This is a project pan item and it is almost gone. You'll be able to see in the update video that's coming up how much progress I've made. I'm going to film that right after this. So this foundation at the start of my project pan was a little too light for me, because I guess I had a little bit more color at that time. But now I've lost a lot of that color because I've been inside more, I guess. So now it's a pretty good shade match for me. I'm going to use my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to buff that in. The more I've used this foundation, the less I would recommend it. I don't love it. It's a really thick kind of texture, and I don't know. I think it kind of sits on the skin and looks cakey. It doesn't really look very natural. I'd say it's medium coverage, but you can definitely still see some of my breakouts very clearly, so it's definitely not full coverage, so I feel like it really has no excuse for looking cakey. If that makes sense. I definitely won't repurchase this once I run out, for sure. Now, I don't have a concealer in my project pan, so I'm just going to use what I've been using every day, and this is my Wet n Wild Highlighting and Concealing pen. It's the Illuminati concealer. Mine is in this shade called Ivory Into You. I actually just talked about this and a lot of other Wet n Wild products in my Wet n Wild One Brand tutorial, so if you want to check that out, I talk more about it in that video. So this is my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, just gonna buff that in. I always make really funny faces when I'm doing this. When I go back and edit the videos, I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like an idiot. So please excuse me for that. I recently got a little pet sitting, dog sitting gig with this couple. They're going away for the weekend and they want me to take care of their dogs while they're away. And I've been kind of pet sitting off and on for years, so I'm really excited. And they actually want me to spend the night at their house each night. So that's new. I've actually never done that before. Setting my under eyes with this Reserve Your Cabana, Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana. This is in the project pan. I've made some progress on this. The pan has expanded. But anyway, I'm curious to know if any of you guys have done any kind of pet sitting or dog sitting before. And if so, if you have actually stayed overnight in a person's house, how did that go? I would love to hear your experiences with that. Because I've done a lot of pet sitting and especially cat sitting over the years. I'm also setting the rest of my face with this powder, by the way. I've done a lot of pet sitting over the years, but I've never spent the night at the person's house, so I'm looking forward to it, though. They have a really nice house, so can't complain about that. So now that that's done, gonna do some bronzer, and I don't have a bronzer in the project pan, so I'm gonna use, let's see, what am I gonna use? I think I'm gonna use my Lily Lolo Sculpt and Glow Contour Duo with my Wet n Wild contour brush. Just gonna do some quick, kind of basic contouring, nothing too fancy here, just really quick. I guess I'm not putting concealer on these breakouts. I didn't even think about that. That's the thing about these Get Ready With Me's. I love doing these videos because they're fun. It's just kind of a chance to like chat with you guys, but at the same time, I kind of forget how to do makeup. I'm like so busy talking that I don't even think about what I'm putting on my face. But I'm going to use this Eco Tools blending and bronzing brush into that same color and just bronze the rest of my face. This brush is pretty new to me. I actually found it at Big Lots. You might have seen me post about that on Instagram. I found a ton of Eco Tools brushes and even some Real Techniques brushes at Big Lots for very cheap. So that was exciting. I scored a bunch of brushes for like 20 bucks, which normally it would have been like way more than that if I bought them full price. So anyway, this brush, I'm really enjoying it. For blush, again, there's no blush in this project pan, so let's decide what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to use this. This is an all-time favorite blush of mine. It's the Milani blush in Romantic Rose. Beautiful, beautiful color. Very, very basic. It's a matte blush. Perfect for that everyday look that I usually stay pretty neutral with my makeup, if you guys haven't noticed. So this blush is one of my just staples in my collection. So I have a new camera, and it's a really nice camera. It's a Canon EOS Rebel T6. So yeah, really nice camera, really expensive camera. And okay, gonna highlight the cheekbones with this Fior Minerals Ignite Illuminator. This is part of the Project Pan. But yeah, so about the camera, well, first of all, it has a viewfinder, but it doesn't flip out. So I know there's a way that I can get the viewfinder to show up on like my laptop screen and have that so I can see, you know, if I'm in focus and everything like that. But I haven't figured that out yet. I've been having a hard time getting it to cooperate, so there's one problem. I've got it, I think I've kind of figured out how to do it without being able to see the viewfinder, but it's not ideal. And also, I have a timer going because the camera just cuts off after like 12 minutes of filming, even though the memory card still has space on it. But when it cuts off, it doesn't actually tell me that it's about to cut off. It makes a little click noise, but that happens like a minute after it already cut off. So I'm just talking to the camera and I don't even realize that it's cut off. So this time I have the timer set for 11 minutes so I know when it's about to cut off so I can stop it and then restart. Way more complicated than it should be. But anyway, so sorry to complain about that. But if anybody has any tips for that, please let me know. So now we're going to move on to the eyes. I'm going to prime my lids with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer, and then while that sets, I'm going to do my brows. I've been using this Sonia Kashuk brow definer in taupe. Really good brow pencil. It is one that you have to sharpen though, so if you don't like sharpening things, then you probably wouldn't want this. It's funny because you guys are only seeing this background, which looks very neat and tidy. But if you were able to see the rest of my room right now, you would know that things are not as tidy as they may seem. Actually, I just posted on Instagram if you want to see a little behind the scenes action. It was on my Insta story though, so by the time this goes up, you won't be able to see it. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because I am pretty active on there. And then I'm going to set my brows with the e.l.f. brow gel. You know what? I'm going to go back and set that cream highlight. It doesn't really set in place, so I'm going to go back into this Reserve Your Cabana with my little Eco Tools fan brush and kind of set it in place because I don't want it to stay like tacky on my face. So for the eyes, this is the e.l.f. Long Lasting Lustrous Eyeshadow in Toast. I've been kind of ignoring this lately. It's just so messy and I have to like use a tissue when I use it because otherwise it gets like all over my under eye and everything. But it is a really pretty gold shadow. So let's just give it a go. Whenever I do wear this gold shadow, people are always like, oh my gosh, you look so dolled up. I mean, I guess it is really glittery, so that's probably why it looks very like glam. But I don't mind. I like being kind of glammed up. I love the way this looks when I do get it on, but putting it on is just such a struggle. because I feel like it's going to get everywhere, so I have to be super careful. And I don't know, it's a weird texture. It's not a powder, but it's kind of not a cream either. It's a weird thing, but I do really like the way it looks. Now, I made the mistake of putting like way too many eyeshadows in this project, but whatever, it is what it is. So this is the Wet n Wild 5-pan Smoke Melrose Palette. You might notice I have completely used up this shade right here, and I have hit pan on these three. The only one I still need to hit pan on is the burgundy shade in the middle. And then this e.l.f. Pressed Mineral eyeshadow, which is also in the project, I have yet to hit pan on, and I have yet to even use it as much as I really should, so I'm trying to decide what I want to do. The problem is this doesn't really go with this. I really shouldn't have put this in the same project, but so I'm going to go kind of over the gold that I already put down with this gold. I'm just going to do a little bit because this is like a really warm, almost copper gold, and when I put too much of it on, I feel like it kind of brings out a lot of redness and it makes me look really tired. So I only do a little bit, just kind of lightly over that other gold. Then I'm going to go into the matte crease color here, just throw that into the crease, kind of sloppily, to be honest. And then I'm going to use this dark burgundy definer shade with my Real Techniques smudge brush. This is another brush that I got at Big Lots, by the way. And it's kind of, oh, I hit pan! Oh my gosh! That's so exciting! I don't know if you guys can see that, but I just hit the tiniest bit of pan on that. That is awesome that that happened on camera. Cool. Now I've officially hit pan on every shade in this palette. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I'll insert a close-up of this in case you guys can't see it. Woohoo. It always just kind of motivates me even further to use things up because, you know, when you see progress, you want to keep making progress. So, yay. And that really is a pretty color. It's just harder for me to use up dark shadows because a little goes a long way with it. I'm going to blend and go back into this crease color just to kind of mesh everything together. Okay, so now I'm going to line my lower lash line. I always kind of do a mixture of this taupe and the burgundy, so we're going to kind of go back and forth between those two. And this is my Wet n Wild smoky liner brush. Oh, y'all, my phone is blowing up. It is just blowing up as soon as I sit down to film. The whole rest of the day, nobody texts me, and then all of a sudden I'm filming, and then everybody decides to text me. Now, to get a little more use out of this Reserve Your Cabana, I'm going to highlight the brow bone and inner corner with that, since this palette no longer has that highlighting shade in it. This works really well for that purpose. So that's about it for the eyeshadow. I'm going to line my upper lash line with my Physicians Formula Eye Booster. Ooh, I did a good job. That like never happens. Let's hope I can match it on this side. Probably not. Okay, so I actually did a pretty good job with my liner, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I had been testing out this Wet n Wild felt tip liner, and it's just so much harder to work with than this brush tip from Physicians Formula. This has to be like my holy grail eyeliner. I don't use that term that often because I don't always like love a product enough to call it holy grail, but it's just so easy to work with. I can get a nice like really thin line, which is what I like. So anyway, this isn't in the project pan, but thought I would mention that. This is my Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara, one of my all-time favorites, and it's only like $3. Now, last but not least, we're going to do the lips. So I have two lipsticks in this project pan. Again, that was a mistake. The one that I have no problem using is the e.l.f. Matte Lip Color in Natural, and that's the one I'm going to use today because it just goes with the rest of the makeup I'm wearing. The other one is the Sonia Kashuk Shine Luxe Sheer Lip Color in Sheer Melon. This is a very summertime-y color, and now that it's, well, today's August 31st, but September starts tomorrow, which in my mind means fall starts tomorrow, so I am in no mood to wear bright summery colors anymore. As soon as fall hits, I'm like, pumpkin spice candles, flannels are coming out, even when it's 90 degrees outside. I don't care. It's fall. The summer colors are over for me. I may declutter this. I'm not sure. I'm having a hard time with it, but long story short, I'm going to apply this e.l.f. matte lip color in Natural, and I'm not going to talk while I put this on because that would just end very badly. So as you can see, this color is very much up my alley. It's so neutral and it's just my kind of color. So this I've made a good amount of progress on. That's all I have left. So pretty good. Okay, so that is the full face of makeup using all my Project Pan items, or most of them anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it enjoyable. If you want to see an update on my Project Pan, that will be coming out shortly, so make sure that you subscribe to catch that one. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!